So, like I said, welcome to this session. It's a pleasure. Okay, and then we want to start. So, few seconds, and we are in. All right, so welcome to this session, and we are beginning already. I believe that anyone paying attention to this session will have the privilege of learning one or two things in which, at the end of the day, such a person should be able to master this concept. Okay, so welcome. We are looking at thorax today, and we want to. All right, so welcome to this privilege to learn in thorax or to learn thorax, abdomen, and perineum. We hope to use about an hour to two to consider this concept, just like someone will also use the same time to learn. Okay, so like we said, we are looking at anatomy of the thorax, and then we want to look at it from where we stopped, and then from there we appreciate what is happening. We had said that anatomy of the thorax can be discussed on using outline. You can see this material here now. For example, in this material you see, what do you see? You see this anatomy of the thorax. Okay. You can see me very well. Okay. Yeah. So in this anatomy of the thorax, what you see, you can see the thorax. Okay, say thoracic wall and thoracic cavity, but this is basically that. And for thorax, we talk about the jack, C fin. Okay, that was the first thing we pick, and we say the M there stands for introduction. The M there stands for introduction, and then that's meaning or introduction, meaning or introduction, and then the actually studying with someone, a guest, co-host, or is so like I said, welcome to this session. We are some minutes into this, so you can see we are doing co-host. The two persons are here. So once there's need, we will discuss. So I may be asking you one or two questions. We are studying together, and he's saying hi to you people. He's a medical student too. Okay, from yeah, let's reserve that. We're studying medicine on the level. So we said thorax. Okay, thorax. You can look at this material we are looking at. Seeing that we find thorax there, meaning of thorax. You've seen another thing, characteristics. The skin, superficial facial, and all that is characteristics. The next thing you find is the composition. Okay, the characteristics. Okay, after the characteristics, you find the composition. After the composition, excuse me, sorry about that. After the composition, you talk about the different joints in the thoracic cage or the diagram. So diagram is there. Now after that, you talk about both posteriorly, this is the posterior part and this is the anterior part. Now in anatomy, posterior, that's the back, all right, or dorsal, depending on if it is the organism or living thing is lying down. Okay, the dorsal. Now, for non-human anatomy, you said posterior is the back, okay, of four-footed animal. But for human anatomy, you say posterior is the back. When it's like maybe is a patient or is a cadaver. All right. So you understand that bit about terms in anatomy. When we are looking in a video, we will tag, okay, anatomy, practical terms, joints, classification, regions, and planes. Okay, we're owing you that video. Okay. Like the channel to have the best of this session. Do you follow? Thumbs up if you are with me. Okay. So we move away from there. So we said, seen the meaning of thorax. Okay, thorax is the region between neck and abdomen. So we said Iran, okay, IRA, Iran, okay. And then the skin, superficial layer, that one is simply the characteristics. So how do you see, what are the features of thorax? A thorax has what? A skin, all right, a skin. So I personally decided to wear this to be able to explain one or two things. You see, this is my skin, right? And there's a skin inside of this, right? So let's assume this now, this suit now, okay, is a skin. And then this white tuxedo or hoodie now is a fascia. And then my skin now, are you seeing it now? Now the muscle, whereas the cage is the rib. Now that's exactly what happened between the skin of the chest and all that. Okay, those are the things you find. And we said if you understand histology very well, and if you don't, check the channel. Okay, yeah, I think I should okay. So if you look at histology, which we are beginning to work on histology, we said this thorax now, you can understand it histologically. Just that you can also understand thorax, okay, how do you call it now? So we are continuing. Sorry for this shot to take water, shot to press one or thing. Remember, this is a new channel, and we are still learning as we are using it to study, not to really know primary goal than to study. Okay, and here you are with us. Drop message, drop comments. We said JEC CFIM. I'm going to start again. JEC CFIM. That is JEC CFIM. Now, after you've written JEC, you put hyphen. Then when you are done, you write another C. When you are done, you put another hyphen. When you are done, you put another, you write the FIM. What does that mean? Starting from the meaning of thorax, okay? Inlet of thorax, or what we call thoracic inlet. F stands for function of thorax. C stands for characteristics of thorax. The next C stands for composition of thorax. E stands for extent of thorax. And J stands for what? Joint of thorax. Now that's not all the outlines like in this material we are studying. Remember our aim in this channel, okay? We are not the writers of this. We regard those and we give recognition, reference, and citation to those who write this material, like the person here, okay? Dr. Anita Rani is the writer of this material. Our goal in this channel is to study it, is to learn it, is to discuss it. So in the morning, afternoon, we do what? We do screen recording like this, screen sharing like this to learn. In the evening, we do live session where we invite our guests. And don't forget, we have started our channel, Made Such Course Mastery. It's a WhatsApp channel. Okay, so it's a public channel, so you can check it. MED spacebar SURG spacebar course, that's COURSE, like your course code or course, that's the course now, and then mastery. So made such course mastery, that's our WhatsApp channel. So join that channel. Let's touch a lot of lives there. Share the link of the channel to others, and then we'll be sending the link to sessions that you miss and sessions that you need to meet, so that we can learn together, we can share, we can actually really enjoy. Do we follow? Thumbs up if you are with me. Okay, yeah. Someone is dancing now because we're studying together. So, but you there in the comment section, drop comments if you are following. Okay, somebody's thumbs up in there. Okay, so we move on. Okay, we move on. Now, we have seen the meaning of Torah, the region between the neck and abdomen, and we said that meaning is introduction. In anatomy, anything you are studying, you must talk about the introduction. Anything you are studying, you must always talk about the meaning or the introduction. Some people even write introduction different and then add meaning, or some even add definition. It's the same thing. Are you following? Drop in the comment section if you're following. Give me an emoji there. Okay. My co-study partner here is also doing that. Okay. So we move along. So we now said, as you look at the meaning, we said thorax is the region between the neck and the abdomen. We call that IRAN. That is, all right, region between abdomen and neck. This is neck. Okay, and abdomen is somewhere here. Are you following? Okay, so you can see it here. Yeah. All right, so let's move on. All right, so let's continue. We are saying that thorax can be studied under outline, just like upper and lower limb is studied under outline. All right, so we move on. We said thorax can be studied under outline. Each of these can be done using outlines. So the first outline here is JEC CFIM. We are still going to refine this outline as we are studying and as we are storing it. Do you follow? And we say Jack CFIM. Okay, Jack CFIM. Someone can say that Jack CFIM. What does it spell? JEC hyphen C hyphen FIN. All right, so we look up, we said JEC hyphen C hyphen FIM. Jack see film. Okay, Jack see film, something like that. Jack see film. All right. To introduce our study on thorax. What does that mean? Starting from the M, MD stands for meaning of thorax. What is thorax? I should be able to tell thorax to anybody, whether he's doing medicine or nursing or anybody, even if he's a student or not, an elderly person or younger, I should be able to tell what is thorax to that person. Do you follow? Thumbs up if you are following me. Drop in the comment section. Okay. Now, so what is thorax? It is, we said IRN. Have you take M stands for meaning. In that JEC, that's an acronym. Okay. Okay. Acronyms, those letters stands for, those different letters stands for what? It stands for different outlines. We are going to add more as we progress in the study. So M stands for introduction. M stands for introduction, and then I stands for thoracic inlet. Sorry, thorax stands for inlet. Okay, what you call thoracic inlet or inlet. All right. F stands for importance of thorax. Okay, and then the C stands for characteristics. Okay, what's the use of that thorax? What is its importance? Okay, the next C there is composition. Remember, we're starting from the last letter to the first letter. First letter is J, all right? And then next letter E, next letter C, hyphen, next letter C, hyphen, next letter F, I, M. Do you get it now? We've talked meaning stands for meaning of thorax or introduction. I stands for what? Inlet or thoracic inlet. F stands for function of thorax. C stands for characteristics. Another C stands for component. E stands for extent. And J stands for what? Joint of thorax. Now, why I'm rushing through like that, I didn't allow you to write it slowly, is because we've done it on this. We studied all this. The only thing we didn't study was the joint of thorax and the inlet of thorax. We studied the meaning, we store it in our brain, and that's why you see I'm keeping the screen record in one place and not moving it. And so because I want to study fresh with you. Are you following? Okay, let's start from the scratch to the mastery. Yeah, my roommate, your study partner, is doing thumbs up too. So let's move on. So, meaning of thorax, we said we use the acronym what? IRAN, IRAN. What does I is for introduction, R is for region, A is for abdomen, and N is for neck. So, introducing thorax, we said, is the region between neck and abdomen. You can see neck and abdomen. Now, let me show you where the abdomen is on the screen. You can see that's where the abdomen is, where that red line is the abdomen. All right, you call it thoracic diaphragm. Okay, that red line divides the thorax from the abdominal region, what we call abdominopelvic region. Abdomen and pelvic makes up abdominopelvic region. And TAP, we said T is for thorax, A is for abdomen, P is for pelvis, the other P is for perineum. And perineum, we've looked at this in another video. We said it is the region, okay, that contains what? The anal orifice and the external genitalia. Okay, at the external genitalia, we have the smaller, okay, urogenital triangle, and at the posterior, we have the larger anal triangle. Okay, we have said that. Okay, that's just a video on that. Please check the subscribe, check the channel, learn, read, go through it. You will really appreciate the way we store it, analyze it to get to that point where I can say with you what we shared together. All right. So please take note, because whatever we are learning this afternoon, by 8 p.m., we're going to be bringing in a guest, okay, to join us from any other part of the world, not just here in our school. We were learning from, okay, with my roommates, okay, but we are studying with other people. Let's get to know, okay, you were there in the live session. What did you garner? What did you learn? Thumbs up if you get something. Share with us before we add something new. Do you follow? Okay, so meaning is for Iran. Okay, introducing thorax. R is for region, A is for abdomen, N is for neck. What does that mean? In thorax is the region between abdomen and neck, or between neck and abdomen is the same thing. Next, we talk about function. I've omitted I, inlet of thorax or thoracic inlet, because we didn't do that. Okay, let's move on. The next thing we are looking at is what function. So the function of thorax is very simple. Okay, it is to protect the viscera, the abdominal viscera. To protect, you can see it here, role of thoracic cage in protecting abdominal viscera. So that's the function of thorax. Okay, and the next thing we talked about was the characteristics of thorax. We said SMSTTD, SMSTTD, and that's the one you're seeing here. Okay, S stands for skin, M stands for muscle, S stands for superficial fascia, T stands for thoracic cage, and the next T stands for thoracic cartilage, while the D stands for deep superficial fascia. Now, you may not really appreciate the way I'm putting the mnemonics except you watch the video. I can give you a brief pickup. SMSTTD simply means that you use histology to understand this. If not, you just be cramming acronyms that makes no sense. But when you connect a thought with another thought, okay, it makes sense. Hear this. In histology, we said you find epithelial tissue first, that's the skin, before the connective tissue, which are the fascia. After that, you talk about the muscle, which are what, those red syncytiums, okay? Now, after that, you talk about what? The nerve. The nerve ramifies the muscle. It's like using a needle to pierce a cloth. You are sewing cloth using a needle. So the nerve pierces the muscle, pierces the connective tissue into the skin. Are you getting it now? Yes. Pierces the muscle, pierces the connective tissue into the epithelial tissue, which is the skin. Connective tissue, which is the fascia, and the muscle tissue, which is the muscle. And they are interesting muscles, lovely muscles here. You're going to see a lot of them. Okay. So you see things like styrothyroid, and you're going to hear a lot of interesting muscles. I'm going to go there when we're talking about the inlets of thorax, structures in the thorax. Okay. So, okay, the next thing we talk about is STP. That's not what it means. The STP there means, the STP there stands for S for sternum, T for thoracic vertebra, and then P for pairs of ribs. P for pairs of ribs. Video. It's not Zoom meeting.
So, but you're already introducing as your
But you shouldn't have stand there now. You should have sit with me here. Okay, no problem. Please take this and plug. So we need like to charge the devices. It won't reach. Or is there any other extension?
Yeah.
Go bring now. Go bring. Sorry, I need to come in. Needed to find a way to plug the. Okay, so we are still a young channel, so it's not a two-touch channel where everything ready. We are still learning. Okay, so we move on. We talk about the composition STP. That's the S for sternum, and then if you want to wonder what sternum is, this is the sternum. Okay, where those things that look like ring. Okay, you can see on the screen. That's the sternum. Okay, the end of the sternum is that beginning of the red triangle, the red line forming a triangle, and then moving away from there, we said thorax, thoracic vertebrae. What's a thoracic vertebrae? You can see this. This thing is written 12 thoracic vertebrae, meaning they're from thoracic vertebrae 1 to thoracic vertebrae 12. Okay, from thoracic vertebrae 1 to thoracic vertebrae 12. Okay, so that's another composition of the thorax. Another one is the ribs. We call it pairs of ribs. Remember STP, sternum, S for sternum, T for thoracic vertebra, and P for what? For pairs of rib. And there are 12. You can count it for yourself. Okay, there are 12. Okay, 2 is floating, the other 10 are fused. So when we look at another material on thorax, you see the classification of ribs and all that, floating rib, true rib, atypical and all that. All right, let's move on. We talk about the extent of thorax. We say thorax extends from the superior mediastinum, inferior mediastinum, and posterior. Posterior is back, posterior mediastinum. We call that SIP. SIP. Are you seeing how we are studying? So the next session of things we'll be studying now will be thoracic inlet and the joint of thorax. Move on. So we move on. Okay. So see how we study. When we study to store it, we hang those things we study in something we are used to. For example, the meaning of thorax. Who does not know Iran? Or you can even pronounce it I ran. As I ran away. You understand now? That's the meaning of thorax. You know Iran, and with this one now, you are doing what? You are connecting something new, which is region between abdomen, that is neck and abdomen. Okay. So we said, remember, see how we are make sense to you? We're studying in a simple way. Meaning of thorax. As we touch it, we show you in diagram on the script, and we use our body to touch it. We are not close to cadaver. Once we get borrowed bones from cadaver or structures from cadaver, or we can buy our own, guess what? We'll be able to show you. But in the night, okay, we work in the day, study in the night. Sometimes we study in the night, work in the. So in the day, we learn using this medium. In the night, we invite you. So if you want to be our guest, want to be my guest, it's just for you to indicate in the WhatsApp channel, okay? Or you message in the comments, all right? And then when many people are being guests, guess what we're going to do? We're going to upgrade. I think this like now. Let's try. So moving away from there, we said we are learning this thing from what we are used to and what we are not used to. My sound. Okay, so we said that's drugs for you. Okay, meaning this repetition makes sense. So repetition bring, when you are tired of something that is repetitive, you have a feeling that there's going to be a change, or you must say, so why are we wasting time here? Do you get now how you understand in the evening when we are doing live session? Yes, be our guest. Let's see if you really understand or really wasted time. Okay, so moving away from there, we said in inlet of thorax, we'll look at that. Inlet and joint is what we'll look at today, and outlet of thorax, another subtopic, maybe the drainage of thorax, blood supply to thorax, muscles of thorax, and all that. Now, function of thorax, we simply say it is what? Protection of abdominal viscera. That's all. What is viscera? Internal organs that are inside. Like this white cloth now is inside this my suit. This white cloth is inside this my suit. We can say this white cloth is viscera. All right. Parietal is outside. Okay. And let's move on. We have the next one is characteristics of thorax. For characteristics, we said what? SMS TTD. SMS TTD. For me, I said SMS thoroughly today. Who does not know SMS? Do you get? Maybe a baby that is not yet accountable. An average young person, an elderly person who is a bit exposed to technology knows SMS. He knows SMS. So moving away from there, so we said for characteristics SMS TTD. What does that mean? It means that S is for skin. That's the first thing you find when you are dissecting. The next one is superficial facial. That's the next thing you find, which is connective tissue. The skin was epidermis, which is epithelial tissue. I'm rushing it because we've done a video where we do slowly, just running just for you to have a recap and then really appreciate what other videos you're doing and see need to watch it, turn it on, and then enjoy yourself. Now we move on to skin. From skin, which is epithelium, we have connective tissue, which you have superficial, facial, and deep facial. Both of them are connective tissue. After that, we have muscle tissue, which is what the muscles. There are different muscles there. After that, we have the rib cage. That's the thoracic cage, the bones. All right. And after that, you have potential space where you have what? Where you have what now? Where you have the viscera, abdominal viscera, which is the internal organs that contain there. Okay, then after that we talk about extent of thorax. Sip. Some people sip gari in sub-Saharan region of Africa. Some people sip cornflakes. Some people sip golden moon. Some people sip pap. Some people sip beautiful things. Some people sip smoothie. Come on now, are you with me now? So that SIP, okay, is what? Sternum, thoracic vertebra, and pairs of ribs. We say there are 5 pairs of ribs. Sorry, there are 12 pairs of ribs. The thoracic vertebra is from the first thoracic spinal cord to the 12th thoracic spinal cord or spine. Okay, that's that about that. Then for composition, we said we use the word. What do we use for composition? STP, that is standard temperature and pressure. If you have done chemistry before, you agree with me that that's something. So remember what we said. We use what we already know, okay, to connect with what we need to know. That's why we are using this elementary thing to connect. Yes, see how we are using general histology to connect. So we move on. Okay, we use general histology of upper and lower limb, first in-course work, to internalize the second in-course work for you. Are you seeing it now? So when we'll be doing head and neck, 1st of August, you see, we'll be using this thorax and abdomen and all that to be connecting again. So that's why it's good we start as you're starting. Watch the video. Okay, so we move on. As we move on, we talk about joints. Okay, we are looking at joints now. I think we have done extensive. S for superior mediastinum, I for inferior mediastinum, and M and P for posterior mediastinum. This is it. This is that thorax now. See, this is the superior mediastinum. Okay, that's where the thorax is, and then this is the inferior, as the cos, and then ends at the posterior. If you count it, there are 12 thoracic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. This is number 1, T1, T4, T5, up to T12. That's the extent of thorax. Okay, so let's look at thoracic inlet very quickly. Let's look at thoracic inlet. But before we look at thoracic inlet, let's look at thoracic joint, a joint of the thorax. Okay, give me a few seconds. Let me take some water. All right, now we're looking at the joints of the thorax. Okay, and we joint. Okay, so we are studying internalization now. Costovertebral joint, costovertebral joint. Okay, the next one is the costotransverse joint. Costotransverse joint. Okay, the next one we find chondral joint. Remember, this was the joint of thoracic cage. Okay, so that's what we are still looking at. So we have SMSCIX. Let's start with that. SMSCIX. So we are already creating mnemonics, acronym for the bones. All right. So let's pick the first one, costovertebral joint. Next one, costotransverse joint. See it in the material. This is costovertebral joint. You can see it. Okay. Next one is costotransverse joint. Let's just name it first. Later we'll go to detail. All right. And the function of those joints. The next one is the costochondral joint. Costochondral joint. Okay. The next one is the interchondral joint. Okay. So we have costovertebral joint, costotransverse joint, costochondral joint, interchondral joint. Okay, interchondral joint. Okay, as we talk about joints of the thorax. The next one is synchondrosis. Now this is joint between costal cartilage and sternum. Synchondrosis. Please pay attention. Synchondrosis. Okay, so we have costochondra, synchondrosis. We have costochondra, synchondrosis, costovertebral, costotransverse, interchondral, synchondrosis. Okay, don't worry, we're going to come out with an acronym or mnemonics that can help us enjoy ourselves. Okay, to learn this in a very easy way. Okay, and we have plain synovial joint. If we cannot come out with it here, we are going to do that earlier or before the 8 p.m. session, and we'll run a short or video and upload, and then so that we can enjoy the study of this concept. So we have synovial, plain synovial joint. Okay, plain synovial joint. Okay. Next one, we also have manubrial from manibrum. Manibrum, you know what is manibrum? Let's see it. Okay, manibrum. That is the manibrum. Okay, okay, they've not labeled it here. Okay, good. They labeled it manibrum. See, M-A, manubrim, not manibrum, manubrim. Okay, that's manibrum. So the bones of the joint is called manubriosternal joint. So the joint between manibro, the manibrum and the sternum. Okay, that's the manibrum and the body of the sternum. Okay, it has a name. We call it what? Manibrosternal joint. Okay, manibrosternal joint. We're still making progress. And then we move on. Okay, I needed another book to see how to get mnemonics you can succeed here. We've talked about costovertebra, costotransverse, costochondra, costochondra. Okay, all these are costo. Then we talk about interchondra. Okay, interchondra. Okay, so move on. because there's no time. Please let's pay attention. Next one is you have the interchondral joint. So you say costovertebral joint. Take note of that, CV. Costo transverse joint. Take note of that. Costochondral joint. Take note of that. Interchondral joint. Okay. Then we talk about synchondrosis. Synchondrosis. SYN chondrosis. You can find it. Where do we find that synchondrosis? Good. Look at it. Synchondrosis. Zooming it in. Seeing it now? Synchondrosis. Now see how we are taking slowly. We are not even slow. We're even fast in this one. The reason is because I'm here to generate acronym on a mnemonic to capture anything about bones of the thorax. And don't forget how we say bone it should be length in upper and lower limb. So if they ask you about the bones of the thorax, if you have to write on that gross anatomy, you use an outline. All right. And we've made a video on that. Okay. And what's the acronym? Just one sentence and you master it. Okay. I draw a perfect picture showing some big, I draw a perfect picture showing some big mysterious brown lion on Jasper Field, excluding sparkling. All that sentence stands for outline. Let's move on. Okay, there's a video on that, so you need to watch that and get that clear. Okay, now we move on. We said synchondrosis. After that bone is manubriostenal bone. Okay, so you take notes. I'm taking notes. Okay, I have the math, I'm still taking because we want to form something. Okay, later we want to test. So you listen to know, but you labor to do what? To be known. All right. So you have another bone is cisphisternal bone. Cisphisternal bone. That's the joint. The joint between the symphoid process and what? And the sternum. Maybe wondering which one is the symphoid process. I didn't even tell you some of these things. Like the transverse process. See the transverse process here. Can see? That's the transverse process. Can see transverse process of T7. So that's the transverse process. Can see? Can see? Okay. That's where the ribs. Okay. That's why we call it costo transverse joint, where the costal cartilage and the transverse process, okay, do what? They articulate. Okay. All right. So we move on. We now talk about the cervisternal joint. From xiphoid process, cervisternal joint. Which other joint do we have there? Okay. We have the intervertebral joint. Okay. Intervertebral joint. We have the sternoclavicular joint. That's the joint between the sternum and the what? And the clavicle. Okay. Interesting joint, right? So we are done with the joint now. So these ones are muscle and something else. So let's see if we can come out with something. CCC, ISM, XIS. Are you seeing it now? How do we come out with something? Okay. Now, the first thing I came out was SMSCIX. That's SMS 6 or 6 SMS. Let's put it that way. 6 SMS. That's the first thing I came out with. Okay. Okay, you can say C6 SMS. Because you can say 6 CSMS. 6 CSMS. All right, let's count. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I still need to add 2. That is 1 C. Okay, and then letter. What letter is missing there? Another letter I. Okay. Okay, so you can say C6. You can say C6 SMS. That's C6 SMS. What does that mean? What does that mean? You know, I don't know. There's some people that play Ludo game where the 6 is there, or if you remember mathematics, C6 SMS. So that's how we are going, right? That's how we are going. So we found that we have the C6 C6 SMS, C6 SMS. All right, so that's that about that. So we talk about C6 SMS. C6 SMS. That's look at 6 SMS. That's the SMS is 6. Okay, C6 SMS. X I sorry CIXIC SMS. C6 SMS. Oh, I have 6 SMS, something like that. Okay, so you use that to remember all the joints in the thoracic cage. Do you follow? All right. So we've listed all the joints. So we said the one that was giving us trouble was synchondrosis. It sounds funny. Synchondrosis. Okay. Synchondrosis. All right. Now C6 SMS. CIXIC, then SMS. Are you following? That is CI dash or hyphen. XIC hyphen. And then what? SMS. Remember the other one was SMS TTD. You remember for the characteristics of what? Of the thorax. S for skin. After skin, you have the superficial fascia. After superficial fascia, deep fascia. After deep fascia is what? Muscle. After muscle, you find the thoracic cage. After the thoracic cage, you find the thoracic what? Cavity. Potential space where you find the abdominal viscera. Now we are looking at the joints. Now, see what we are coming out. C6 SMS. Can you imagine that? Okay. Now, to internalize take time. But once we internalize it, it's easy to teach because the teacher I'm doing here, try to teach a 6-year-old, trying to teach a baby face, trying to teach somebody's clothes. Then sometimes when I teach and when God helps us teach, you discover that even though you are possible feel like coming to learn again, you are free to come to learn because you don't know tomorrow. You may need to help a life. Okay, or share this channel with someone. Oh, this channel explains it in an easy way, in such a way that when you catch it, I'm telling you, you can never miss it. You master it once and it stays with you forever. Okay? Thumbs up if you are with me. Drop it on this thing. My co-study partner is thumbsing up. Okay? Yeah, it's thumbsing up. But this is not session for co-host. It's in the night session we'll be discussing. But for now, we're working with screen. Okay. So we are done with joints. Now let's get into the inlets of thorax. Don't forget CI dash XIC dash SMS C6 SMS. That is how many SMS do you have? It is 6. So C6. But only you and I know that the C is not SEE. It is CI. And only you and I who are in this station, who are watching this thing, either as a replay or live, okay, only you and I know that this thing we are talking about is what? CI for C and XIC for 6. So it's not the normal 6 that is spelled the SIX. It's this other 6. Do you follow? Okay, let's move on. Or you can also say C6, that is, instead of XIC, you can say CIX. So that normal 6 is SIX, but this our anatomical 6. Oh my God. So 6 in English is different from 6 in anatomy. But it's true now. In biochemistry, -1 does not mean the thing is losing. It means it's gaining. Whereas +1 means it's losing. So -1 in mathematics is not the same thing as -1 in biochemistry or in chemistry. So if I say 6, the way we spell 6 in anatomy of thorax, abdomen, pelvis, and perineum, is not the way the mathematicians spell 6 or the English people do. And we have the right to do that because of what we are seeing. And this is how to study in anatomy. Do you follow? Good. Move on. All right. So C6 CI hash CIX dash SMS. The first C stands for what? Costovertebral joint. That's the costal cartilage with vertebral column. There's a joint. Next one, costotransverse joint. In that vertebral column, there's a transverse joint. It's a transverse process, like a tuberosity, kind of projection, kind of a rough groove on it, rough lining on it. Now, there's a cartilage there. We call it the joint between that transverse process and costal cartilage is called costotransverse joint. Costotransverse joint. Did you hear? Good. That is for CT. No, you say CI, not CT. So I will now be interchondral joint. Interchondral. Inter, then chondral. Is CHONDRAL. Interchondral joint. So we're done with CI now. C is for costovertebral joint. I is for interchondral joint. Okay. Or let's put it this way. The chondral. Costochondral joint and the interchondral joint. Let's put it that way. All right. So the first CI is costochondral and interchondral. We are done with the chondral. Are you getting it now? All right. So later we'll look at costovertebral and intervertebral. Does it make sense? Yes. So we have C6. So the C now is now costovertebral and intervertebral. You see, it's following a rhythm now. CI. The first CI is costochondral. The I is interchondral. The next CI is costovertebral and the I is intervertebral. Are you following? Making sense? Okay. Now the X there is syphisternal joint. That's from xiphoid process. You have syphisternal joint. And then the S there now is sternoclavicular joint. The other S is synchondrosis. Don't forget it. SYNCHON drosis. Do you follow? Okay, move on. What else? SMS. M there is for manubrium sternal joint. Manubrium sternal joint. BRIU manubrium sternal joint. Manubrium and sternum. The manubrium part of the sternum and the body of the sternum. So the last is already said. So that's that for joint. Do you see it's easy? Is it not simple? Yes. Don't give somebody your joint to. Hold your joint to. Remember your joint to. C6. So C6. So they say use your number 6, meaning use your bones, your joints of your thorax. Okay. Let's look at thoracic inlet now so that we know Jack, C fin. We are finished. Remember J stands for joint, and under joint we have what? C6 fin. C6 film, meaning it's like saying watch 6 movie. Do you get? Or C6 film. This is very nice for people who love scrolling through a movie all through the day and night and all that. C6 film. How many film did you see? 6. Okay. But you know that the C here is CI and the 6 is CIX. The C is not SEE, and the 6 is not. So is usage. When you are done now, you go online, go to the channel and share. Do you get? Go to the channel and share. All right, you share. Okay. Go to the channel and share. And if you are there, I'm going to give you information. Okay. So we move on. We move on. We want to look at inlet now of thorax, thoracic inlet. We've looked at all this. Look at extent. Is this inlet now that we want to look at? Okay. Superior thoracic aperture, inferior thoracic aperture. Now this is how a clinician calls it thoracic aperture. Entry and exit are called apertures, okay, not inlet. Anatomists will call it uh, inlet and outlet, but a clinician or a pre-clinician should call it superior thoracic aperture and inferior thoracic aperture. This thing remind me of when I met a senior colleague sometimes back last, and was telling me about these things, and I didn't believe I'm going to come to know it and all that. So that's the beauty if you learn it well and before you get to learn from your lecturer. Now let's look at the structures that passes through the superior thoracic aperture. That's the inlet. So the inlet is also called what? Okay, let's move on. Now as we are moving on, you've seen thoracic wall, you've seen thoracic cavity. Yeah. Okay, so we move on. Thoracic wall, thoracic cavity.
Yes.
So we move on. So we have thoracic inlet. You're going to find it somewhere. All right, here we are now. This is the thoracic inlet. You can see the superior thoracic aperture we saw in that place. We are seeing it here again. Where did we see superior thoracic aperture? We saw it here. See, saw the superior thoracic aperture here. Now we are seeing it again when talking about inlet, meaning the inferior thoracic aperture is where the outlet is. Can see inferior thoracic aperture. Can see it. Inferior thoracic aperture. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. The next thing we are going to find, is let's get to where we have the inlet. Okay. All right. We have the thoracic inlet. Okay, and that's upper end of the thorax, which is continuous with the neck. That's not the structure, because usually the question is right on the structures. Okay, that pass through superior thoracic aperture, inferior thoracic, or list the structure. So now we are seeing it now. Number one, we have thoracic inlet. Okay, involves the upper end of the thorax, the upper border of the manubrum sternum, posterior superior surface body of the first thoracic vertebra, and then lateral first rib. So you can say relation, okay, and say relation of thoracic inlet, right, right. So RT is relation of the inlet of thorax, that's thoracic inlet, okay. So meaning at the back, you have the end of the upper end of the thorax, yes, is continuous with the neck, continuous with the neck. So the upper end continues as the neck, just like maybe iliac artery will continue as femoral artery, things like that. Okay, so we move on. So we have let's see, looking at structures passing through it. The first structure we pass through it is number one, artery. Okay, you can see large arteries, okay, like brachiocephalic artery, left common, okay, artery, brachiocephalic artery, okay, left common carotid artery, left subclavian uh, artery. Now, this you really appreciate if you do mediastinum or great vessels of the heart. And we've done that before, we'll still do it again because we studied that offline, we did not really record it. So we're going to do online so that people can learn that. Okay, moving away from there, we have structures passing through the inlet. Okay, still structures. So first is artery, second one is what? Vein. Okay, so you can even say first is vein, okay, second one is artery. So if you have the BSC, okay, call it BSC, BSC. So if you have a BSC, S is for subclavian, left subclavian, and then B is for brachiocephalis, okay, BSC, and C is the common carotid artery. So we are moving on. We said the structures passing through number one, vein, number two, okay, and then another structure passing through at the viscera, the viscera. So we said V squared van, okay, a V squared A squared. So that is let's put it this way: there's viscera, viscera and vein, okay, and then the viscera has can say root or rota, okay, root. So you have goat, but this one is root. Remains of thymus, osovacus, apices of lungs and pleura, and then you have what? Trachea. Okay, so that's the veins. For the veins, you list the three veins. For the artery, you list the three artery. That's BSC, brachiocephalic, left common carotid, and then left subclavian artery. Okay, then the next thing is the nerve. Okay, for nerve, you have phrenic nerve, vagus nerve, sympathetic trunk, first intercostal, left recurrent, and laryngeal. So how do we put this one? Let's uh, P left recurrent, no, left recurrent laryngeal, uh, PLS, PLS, okay. So that's the nerve. How many nerves are there? One, two, three, four. Four nerves, okay. Four nerves. PVFS, PVS, first coastal, no, first intercostal left recurrent laryngeal. Okay, so you see it here. Okay, it's not clear here. You see it here. Okay, it's not here. It should have been here, but it's not clear. It's not clear. So we'll check in the Human Anatomy Atlas. That's a nice place to check. Okay, to discover the nerve. Because once you see the nerve, okay, guess what? It's easy for you to get the distance. Okay, so we have the nerve here in thorax 280. Okay, let's open to 280. Let's see if we can find the nerve. Okay. So you can see, okay, nerves. So out of the, yeah. Okay, let's see, where do we find that? So that will take our time. We are going to check her nerves. So you see it now? The nerves. Okay. Find the nerves here. Nerves, intercostal nerves of the thorax. And see the nerves. Okay. This is where you find the nerves. So move on. Next one we have, what else do we have? We have the next structure. So we've talked about VAN. Next structure is the muscle. So we say V-man. V-man. Yes. Then we said V squared man for the structure passing through V squared man. Okay, so the inlet of the thoracic inlet was about V squared man. So that's a good one. So we've used this one and some minutes to be looking at what? Thorax, the joint in thorax, we said C6, C, use your eye, C6, C6, C6 what? SMS. C6 SMS. So we are going to end this session shortly now. Okay, in C6. Oh, sorry, I didn't know my volume, my mouthpiece was. Now we're trying to check for the nerves, and then we said for the mnemonics for remembering inlet structure or superior aperture, superior thoracic aperture. Okay, star. Like yes, star 111 or star 222 or SAT. That's superior aperture of the thorax. Okay, means you have V squared man. The first V is for veins. Okay, BSC are the veins. Remember the name what? PVSF. PVSF. Okay. Okay, so we say the sympathetic trunk nerve. Okay, and V man, M is the muscle, and the muscle are SSL, LLS, okay, or SSL. Okay, first one is stenohyoid. Stenohyoid. And one is stenothyroid. And then longus scoli. Longus scoli. Okay, so those are the inlets of the thorax. We're going to end this session here and go for a brief break. All right, go for a brief break. We're coming back again on this concept. All right, thank you very much. So recap of what we have done. JEC C-film, that is JEC hyphen or dash C hyphen FIM. JEC C-film or Jack C-film. Hello Jack C-film. Hey Jack C-film. Maybe they slide or something, or maybe someone is changed gadget and say Jack C-film. Okay, so J stands for joint of the thorax. E stands for extent of the thorax. And then C stands for composition of the thorax. Hyphen C stands for characteristics of the thorax. F stands, that's another C now. F stands for function of the thorax. Okay, F stands for function of the thorax. I stands for inlet of the thorax. M stands for meaning or introduction, okay, to thorax. Now, introduction to thorax, watch this now, ladies and gentlemen. Introduction to thorax, we said I ran. Okay, joint of thorax, we said C6 SMS. C, the number of SMS is 6. So C with your eyes, but 6 SMS. But we know that the C is CI. The C is CI. And then the 6 is CIX. Not the normal SIX for 6. All right. SMS is the only that is just S and M and S. Okay. Then moving away from there, we said that means the C there is costochondral joint. I is interchondral joint. The next 6 is CI is costovertebral joint and intervertebral joint. Now the S is xiphostenal joint, from xiphoid process, xiphostenal joint. Okay, and then it says C6 SMS. S is for synchondrosis. 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 Okay, M stands for what? Manubriostenal joint. Manubriostenal joint. Okay, manubriostenal joint. Okay, and the last S stands for sternoclavicular joint. Okay, that's a nice one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've learned 8 things today. In a session of learning, the rule is learn 5 to 10 things. We've learned 8 things about the joints and get thoracic inlet. We've learned how many things? V squared man. And that V squared man, okay, what does it mean? N for nerve. And the nerve, there are 4. We have phrenic nerve. We have SAS PVSF, phrenic nerve. This V is vagus nerve, and then the S is the S here is sympathetic. Yeah, sympathetic trunk nerve. Sympathetic. Okay, sympathetic. That's where you have sympathizers. It does not have heart. That heart, the sympathy does not have sympathy. So sympathetic trunk nerve. And then you have the first, okay, the first left intercostal laryngeal artery. Okay, the first left intercostal laryngeal nerve. Sorry, not artery, because we're talking about nerve. Then the A there is the artery. You say BSC, just like the V is what? BSC. But there's another V, okay, which is apices of the lung and pleural. Pieces of the lung and pleural. And then trachea, say roots. That is R for the apices of the lung and pleural. That is for trachea. Okay, O is for suffocus, and then R is for what? Right? Remains of thymus. Root. Rotate. Okay, let's pick rotate. Okay, rotate. Okay, so remains of thymus. Okay, that makes sense. Rotator. All right. Remains of thymus. Okay, apices of the lungs. Okay, apices of lungs. Tailor makes sense. Tailor. Rutelo. Rutelo. Okay, rutelo. Okay, so for viscera is rutelo. V where R is for remains of thymus. Remains of thymus. Write it down. Yeah, remains of thymus. Then the next one is the T is for what? It's for trachea. Yes, it's trachea passing through it. There's also esophagus passing through it. There's a remain of thymus. Okay, remains of thymus, and there's esophagus. Rotate. Okay, remains of thymus. Okay, it should be root. Okay, apices of the lung. It's a rotator. Rotator. Okay. Said root. This root is remains of thymus. Okay. Then we have rotate. This one is apices of the lung, trachea, esophagus. So rotator. Rotator makes sense. So rotator for the viscera that passes through or inlets the superior thoracic aperture, SAP, superior aperture of the thorax. Okay, so this is that for this, and then moving away from there, we have done for inlets, we've done for joints, done for meaning of thorax, done for. So when we come back again, we'll be doing other concepts. Okay, and what's the concept we'll be looking at? Let's see how we can pull out the remaining ones here, so that when we come back, we'll be looking at it. First is thoracic outlet. We've seen thoracic inlet. We're going to see thoracic outlet. Okay, yeah. After that, that's the thoracic outlet there. We're going to see structures on it. Then we're going to see vertebral levels. Vertebral levels, structures you find in vertebral levels of the thorax. Structures you find, vertebral levels and structures there. What are the structures that you have in vertebral level? Between T9 and the between T9 and a T5, you have the heart. Okay, between T9 and T4, you have the diaphragm. Okay, and all that. So that's what we'll be looking at when we come back. Thoracic outlet, vertebral levels, and then the next thing we'll look at is venous return. Venous return. I think we have done that venous return. When we say blood will return from the lumbar vein into the subcostal vein, from there enters the hemiazygous vein, then accessory hemiazygous vein, then zygous vein, from there to another drainage. You see in it, look at see venous drainage. We're going to look at three important veins. Ascending lumbar veins, yes. Ascending lumbar vein. Then from this subcostal, you can see it. From this subcostal, from there you see what? Hemiazygous. You see what? Accessory hemiazygous. Accessory hemiazygous. Then you find azygous vein. It empties into the azygous vein. Zygous now empties into the arc of azygous vein. Okay? And then that one empties into the arc of aortic vein. Arc of aortic, what you call superior vena cava. It empties into the superior vena cava. Okay, superior vena cava. Let's check. Can we identify inferior vena cava here? Good. You can see inferior vena cava. So part of the thorax empties into the superior vena cava. Okay, in fact, the thorax completely empties into the superior vena cava. We're going to look at venous drainage. We're going to look at blood supply. We're going to look at the arteries. Okay, blood supply. We're going to look at the artery. We say CID. This is the supreme intercostal. Okay, SIA. This is the costocervical trunk. This is the internal thoracic artery. This is the deep cervical artery. Okay, and then when we come back, still look at the van of the thorax. The van of the thorax. The van of the thorax. We look at the thoracic wall. Okay, the structures that are lined there. We look at the interthoracic space. Okay, thoracic space. We look at intercostal muscle, the costal muscle, okay, and we look at the thoracic wall. Look at the thoracic wall, okay, thoracic wall, okay. Then what else will we look at? Okay, the thoracic wall will be extrinsic and intrinsic. Extrinsic and intrinsic. So that's that about that. So when we come back in the evening, the JEC film will add it with this other one and form a new. Either it will be craft web something, we just come out with something so that as we go to discuss what we've done so far, we internalize new one. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being in this session. It's been an hour, 30 minutes. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, share the link, and then we continue. Go refresh, eat, rest if you make, set alarm, tell somebody like 5 person to wake you. If not, the tiredness may make you say, oh, I've achieved what Napoleon did not do. And then when that time up, wake up earlier than the devil, do your revision. But before now, join the channel. Okay, let's give you the link you join where you practice, and we follow you up on how you are practicing. What you learn from here about JEC, C film, J for C6 SMS, E for SIP, that's SIP, and then the other C for STP, that's composition, the other C for SMS, TTP, that's characteristics, F for function, protects the abdominal viscera, and then I for what? V square man, and we talk about the V square man. Stand for M is for Iran. V square man is V for viscera, where you have what? Rotator, and then you have what? You have phrenic, you have N for phrenic, M for vagus, N for sympathetic trunk nerve, and then F is for first left laryngeal nerve, 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 first left intercostal laryngeal nerve. I knew something was missing. Okay, you see, now that's how you work. First left laryngeal, and you should be expecting if you are running through the material. So you can do this thing I'm doing with a friend. Okay, this is another thing you learn from this channel. Okay, you can join us live as we are here. You can also do it with a friend, as a friend to a friend, and then at the end you take a quiz. Okay, like I've run through, see the time it took me to run through the joints, very small. But imagine what it took me to do what I did the other time. It took us hours, like hours. But I'm going to do a short now. What took me 1 hour 30 something, I'm going to do a short now and tell you about the things we have learned so far about thorax and the one that is remaining for us to learn. In the night, we're going to have our guests, we're going to discuss. So if you want to be our guest, comment in the section there. Okay, the question and concept you didn't get clear, and something you want to see, the anatomy or the structure and everything, okay, you comment and let us know. In the night, once we are done with the session of physical to talk, not materials again, this one will be seeing my face, I will see someone's face. Either I'll be teaching someone live. This will not teach from book, this one will be teach from brain. Are you seeing that first? We teach from book, next we teach to brain. Next we take a test, then we come back again if we have the time, because we run that 8 o'clock till 12 o'clock. Run that 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Okay, we run the first 1 hour 30 minutes, go for a little break, host another one and all. In fact, that 8 o'clock will run till maybe like 4 hours stream, okay, 4 hour live session. Okay, the important thing is for us to learn. May decide to, okay, drop another link so we join and still build our dream. The important thing is internalize, keep showing up, keep studying, don't give up, keep pushing. You prepare, you practice until success happens, until it's success happens, until the thing sink inside. Keep saying it. Ladies and gentlemen, we may need to do different revision, and the revision and other parts of anatomy we've done, the pelvic region, the meaning extents and all that. But whatever is the case, these stories we have to finish it. Okay, by tomorrow we should say at least we've gotten a peruse of ferrous, and then we still do no up and lower. Don't forget, we are still going to do up and lower limb. We are still having a lot to get done. Okay, so by the time we're done, guess what? They will just touch a little question, boom, and you answer, because you have taken enough time to internalize at length. Once again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, our subscribers. Thank you, our comments makers, our likers, those who share our screen on their WhatsApp status, those who share my own screen. There's a button okay, below that look like rectangle, rectangle with arrow. Okay, if you click on it, you share what I share on my status, on your own status, without needing to forward anything. All right, and then people who are in medicine, who are in your group, can learn, can enjoy. Do you follow? Thumbs up if you follow. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Don't forget, 8 p.m. we start the live session. Not the teach from book, the teach from brain method. Usually exciting for some people. This one is not too exciting. It's not. Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. I promise. See you at the top. Bye bye.